Hi there, welcome back to the History of Fleetwood Mac. I'm Anita. Today we are going to take a little side adventure and talk about the newly remastered, or I should say mobile fidelity sound, Stevie Nicks' Rock a Little album. I'm going to preface this video a little bit with a small apology for being pretty bad, consistent-wise, since the beginning of the year. We've just really had some ups and downs. And honestly, the last couple of weekends for me have been absolutely fantastic, where I've just really had a very surprise time out with my sweet partner and just really just taking advantage of the weekend, which is all we have together. And, I do things as they come, and I've never really had a schedule, but I got to thinking that maybe I should just try and do like a Monday through Friday thing and just really reserve the weekends, because I feel terrible when I don't, stand up to my word and what I say. And I know that many of you, watch this in passing or probably don't care, but I just like to deliver. And also, I've had so much to deliver. All those prior volumes, as I've said in the past, were so full and so ready to go, whereas our more current era is a little bit behind. So I've had to have pictures developed and all sorts of stuff. But getting back to the video that I really wanted to deliver was, amongst the surprises and such was this album. As I've mentioned before, I am not working, and my partner is, being the sole provider for this household, so I don't ask for anything. I just feel awful asking for anything or having anything done for me. And he had heard me talk about this album, and I've missed out on some of the more recent mobile fidelity items. And he's like, you need to order this. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to order anything. And I guess he went and ordered it for me. I was just absolutely shocked. And I could not believe when it was here on the table on Saturday. So I was not able to open it though until like Sunday night. So I still didn't know it was there. And I was like, well, what is this? And on I forget where the box is, but it says something on the box. And I thought, record, and shaped like a record, and I thought, oh God, what the hell is this? And it's just, I had no idea. It's just really thoughtful, and it really meant a lot to me, a really big surprise. So with all that stupid stuff that nobody cares about, personal life that doesn't pertain to Stevie Nicks, and I do apologize, we're going to talk about the mobile fidelity. Now, ironically, right as this was received, I was seeing on a website that I frequent on Facebook that there were some errors with the printing of this record, and that set me off right away. I still would have ordered it if I had had the money, if I were working and was just spending my money, but I would have been really peeved about it, and we'll get a little bit more into that later. But if you recall, Stevie Nicks' Rock a Little Anyway had the liner notes, the lyric sheets had a lot of misprints anyway from the original pressing back a long time ago. And I'm going to guess here that Mobile Fidelity just, did nothing, none of their due diligence in that regard, and just copied what was on an original pressing of the 1986 Rock a Little release, including the misprint. The cool thing about this is that a Mobile Fidelity is released on two LPs played at 45 RPM. So it's like what you would play a 45 record on, a 7-inch record. And what that does is enables the compressing, I don't know which is the right way to say it, but when a song is made, it's compressed onto a vinyl record, a 33 1/3, a 12-inch record. And it's always going to play better when it has the length and more time and more RPMs, 45 RPMs, if that makes any sense. And I kind of got it right. I don't have the exact science, but it's basically why mobile fidelity and making it, one album, a 2-album set at a faster speed with less compression of the songs, it just makes it for a better release. So it was a really neat treat to get this, with the lyric sheet instead of put in there as this whole, gatefold of the record. So that was really cool. This is really, really thick, really nice cardboard that it's in. It is, very well taken. The spine of the record looks really nice here for what it is. And then we have the back. My disappointment with the back is that on the original release, that this was kind of matte, and this insert here part was kind of shiny. There's a little bit of a sheen to it, and there's none of that. It's just all one texture, the whole thing. But it looks rich and it looks lush. And really, the bottom line is that we being Stevie fans, and I should speak for myself particularly, are thrilled beyond words that Rock a Little is getting its due diligence. This has not seen any kind of re-release. And I am a tad bit surprised that it has not gone down the line the way Belladonna and Wild Heart have been released, which is a deluxe version, a box set, rare B-sides, Instead, it has just been picked up thus far by Mobile Fidelity. I have little doubt that, now that this has been released, depending on the sales of the item, that, we could still see a deluxe reboot of this album. Rhino has talked about it. Rhino Records has spoken about it, and I think it sounds to me like they've had some stuff underway for a while. Just nothing yet has happened, and it could be nothing has happened because Mobile Fidelity said, "Hey, if you could wait a minute, because we have this coming out." I don't know. It's just totally a guess on my part. So we're looking at this here, and the glaring things that I had heard about right away. Well, let me just finish actually talking about the outside sleeve and stuff. So as you saw, here it is this way, and then here it is that way. And then I will show you as well how the records look. They came in really nice, very nice liner sheets. These are the best inner sleeve ways. They have this stuff back here that helps it from being magnetic. And a word I had learned, and I had never realized really what it meant, is when vinyl is produced and put in the sleeves and then in the cardboard, it kind of has a gassiness to it. There's like a, the what's the right word I'm looking for? Condensation almost of the way it was made. And then when you put it in a jacket and stuff, if you were to leave this unopened for years and open it later, sometimes if you ever see records with a whole bunch of splatters on it, that is what that is. It's like the gas that just went out. And if you had taken it out when you first got it and opened the record and run your brush over or the needle over it, you wouldn't see that. But if any of you have opened a record after many years, it's been sealed and you see a lot of spots on it, but it plays just fine. And probably would come up, just, maybe not all the way, but there'd be a little glare about that. That's what that means. And I have talked about in the past where some records have come in sleeves and stuff like that, and they're murder to pull out. They're so difficult to pull out that they kind of make a shock. There's a literal shock. There's like so much static and the gas from that. And this had neither. This was super easy to come out. It was in a nice sleeve and it's super easy to come out. You can kind of see, I don't know, can you see that? The light's getting it just right. There is there's like these little pieces in here that are just, I don't think you can see it. It's right here and right here. And there is like a line that goes through it and it's untouched. It just, gosh, I just can't show it to you right. And I think that's it. When I put my finger over it, oh no, there's still marks. So maybe it's just from my touching it. And you should always go this way. You shouldn't go out like I was doing. So I think that maybe that's just from its first play. I don't know. Anyway, the labels are a little different, obviously, because it's, this company who's made them. Same on the back and everything like that on both sides, on both records, I mean. And so what the problem is with the record, though, again, I'll stop again. I apologize. The record sounds mind-blowing. I mean, I did listen to it first under headphones. I was unable to listen to it. Boyfriend, like I said, he bought this for me, but he's not a big Stevie fan. I think I've mentioned that. And this had to be cranked up. And there's no way I could crank it up until today, which I was able to do and listen to it fully in its entirety. But first under headphones, there was just little nuances. I just really can't put my finger on anything specifically that I was like, that's completely new to me. But it just sounded brighter and stuff. In my personal opinion, I don't think it is the best sound ever, but I'm really not a huge audiophile. I'm not one of those ones who will be like, well, on my record player with this needle and blah, 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 and this, tuner and stuff. And I have no problem with those people. Those people kick ass. I aspire to be that kind, I really do, but I don't have the money and I don't have that kind of record player. I don't have that kind of, I have some jacked up third hand, hand-me-down kind of tuner and speakers, which I think sound great. And I do have a really nice record player though, but it's like, it's like up here record player instead of like up here, but it's pretty damn nice. And the needle's still new enough and plays fine and stuff. So I think it sounded great. I think it sounded absolutely amazing. That was me, but I don't think that it had a sound that was like, I don't know. I guess maybe, I think this probably would be the top tier quality that we'll ever see this record in. Does that make sense? And that's still great. But I think there probably would be a way that maybe it would be better, but I wouldn't know what those peculiarities are. I just really wouldn't know. But I think if Rhino does a box set or something like that, we're not going to get the clarity that we are with these. I mean, these are probably definitely the pinnacle of how this is going to sound that we might ever see it released as, except for years later when Stevie passes, we pass, and nobody gives a shit anymore, really, to be honest. But I still think there's probably a little bit more that could have gone into it. I don't know what tracks, what masters they got them from. I really don't know. But that's that. But trust me, if you're into records and you want it, and you aren't like, well, the bass is too low on this point, and the whatever. If you're not that finicky, picky, the two big words I was trying to get out of my mouth, then I would just order it as it is. This record is $60, and I think that the CD, there's the SA, which is Super Audio CD, and I've heard that much like if you heard me talk about, I forget what it was that I got recently also. I've heard the CD is just like way up here. I think it was the Belladonna. I think it was Mobile Fidelity's Belladonna. Mobile Fidelity's Belladonna. Jesus. That's what happens when you don't make a video for a couple of days. I heard, and I did not get that CD, and I did not get this CD. I mean, maybe I will later, but again, this is such a treat to get this at all, so I don't know. I read a couple of people say that the CD is fine, but nothing like, it's the best thing ever. I really don't know. Now, to finally get to the point I keep bringing up and messing up all the time. If you see on the jacket here, it says side 1 is I Can't Wait, Rock a Little, 2 songs. And then side 2, let's see, is that right? I Can't Wait, Rock a Little. Yeah. Side 2 is Sister Honey, I Sing for the Things, Imperial Hotel. Side 3, Some Become Strangers, Talk to Me in the Nightmare. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 on there. So if you go to the first side of the first record, you'll see on that's side 2. You'll see on the record, there are clearly 3 songs. 1, 2, 3. And then here's the runoff. And it says on the record as well that there is I Can't Wait and Rock a Little. So the record and the inner, Jesus, my Christ. Oh my God. The sticker on here and the packaging don't match what's on the record at all. So this is wrong, and the back of the package is wrong. The vinyl's correct, I guess. I guess that's what the correct part is. This has 3 songs, so this should read I Can't Wait, Rock a Little, and then Sister Honey. And then side 2 is going to be I Sing for the Things, Imperial Hotel, and let's see here. I Sing for the Things, Imperial Hotel, and Some Become Strangers. Then what is correct is that on this record, on part side 3, it does say 2 songs are on here, so you kind of catch back up. But it says, it says that there are 3 songs, and you can see here clearly 2 songs, 1, 2, and then the runoff. Very clear. And again, on the back of the album, it says that side 3 should have Some Become Strangers, Talk to Me, and The Nightmare. So again, the label and the things don't match up. Now, what I was going to get into further about this is that having gotten this, and then I haven't even told a lot of my friends, I'm telling you in the video first that I even received this. Somebody had written to Mobile Fidelity, and Mobile Fidelity got back to them and said, we will offer you, first of all, we're not going to fix it, which Mobile Fidelity has done with another release in the past. They made new labels. That's the big word I was looking for. The label, not the sticker. The label and the jacket, and they've been sent new items or new records, whatever the case may be. And Mobile Fidelity said, we're not going to do that, and we will offer you 10% off your next purchase. 10% off for a $60 record. So, that means you have to purchase from us again. 10% off $60 is $6, obviously, and they have other releases that are $120 right now. There's Stevie Nicks and a Fleetwood Mac one that are $120 right now, so that would be $12 off in the scheme of things before shipping. And really what it does come down to is that basically includes free shipping. Or you could return this for a full refund, shipping not included. So you'd be out yet another few dollars, basically that 10%. And I, for one, unacceptable. Unacceptable. I am so tired of things not being done correctly. Everybody makes a mistake. There's an error. But this is something, they've had a while to go over this. And in that email that was sent to somebody on the Facebook group that I'm on, it says that we noticed this when we sent out the pre-orders. Well, frankly, that's a lie, because when my boyfriend ordered it for me, it had been released. It was technically released. So it said order. It didn't say pre-order. It said purchase. So, I don't know what that is. So that means at time of purchase, because it's only been out for like 9 or 10 days or something, maybe something like that. Um, so I call bullshit on that one too. So, they could have stopped after the pre-orders had gone out. And a lot of people would have been shit out of luck, including myself, but they could have limited it, and they've limited it to 4,000 copies, which cool. But 10% off on another purchase that you might F up again. I don't think is acceptable. So I personally am going to draw up a petition for my friends to sign who have ordered it. And, not to be like Helen Troy or anything like that, but I'm so mad at that right now. We're in an economy. I mean, I've really noticed this since when I was working, I just spent like there's no tomorrow. I'll be perfectly frank. I spend like, it's water. I do not understand the concept of saving, and you can see from my collection, that's really the bulk of it. That's why. And if something even says Stevie Nicks or Fleetwood Mac, my money was to you already. I was very frivolous. And in being unemployed for a while, it just really kind of humbles you and kind of makes you really understand. And that's my perspective. There are other people who I know have ailments and all sorts, or an income that's very limited to their needs and stuff like that, and they can't afford luxuries like this. And so if you're going to get something like this, you're going to want to get it right. And that's just a personal pet peeve. Another time with Anita's soapbox, and I do apologize for that, but I just thought the discerning viewer and potential buyer ought to be aware of that. I have nothing against Mobile Fidelity. I think generally they make a really good product. But again, this has been in the works for a while and has just come out. And, a 10% get over it kind of situation is just really mediocre, in my opinion. Do I still love it? Am I going to keep it? Will I return it for the full refund? Duh, no. Would it have been kind of neat if you had one like this that was in the air and they replaced one? Of course, I'm a collector. That would have been amazing. Am I going to suck it up and just live with it as it is? Yeah, for the sound, it's freaking amazing. And again, it's attention given to rock a little, which is long overdue in my opinion. So that is my story, and I'm sticking to it. I do appreciate everybody being patient with me yet again, and I'm really sorry. And again, probably people catch this when they catch it, and they're like, whatever. But I apologize. I am a Virgo, as I've mentioned, and I really do try and keep a time and a routine, especially because I need to, just for my well-being, and just also because I love doing this. And people who check in and watch it, I want them to be able to rely on another video being there. I've talked in the past about maybe creating a schedule, but maybe this is my sign. I've been really having a really good time and being able to go out and do things with my boyfriend, who is going himself. We're both going through hard times, but he's really going through a lot right now as well. So, and just take that time to spend, doing other things in the home or with him, and just concentrate on this to still have fun and be on time by doing it, Monday through Friday. And just, no videos on the weekend. That's what I'm thinking. So we'll see. I let this video go on too long because I'm in yammering. Thank you so much for joining me. Everything's ready. There will be another video tomorrow, I promise. We're back on track. And I still have those videos coming out of Colorado, the Bay Area, all sorts of stuff. A lot more shows from the 2005 Gold Dust Tour. So stick around. Come back tomorrow for those. Thank you so much again for letting me miss a couple days and joining me back again tonight. Everybody have a great night. We'll see you later. Bye.